How many times have you looked at your phone, opened up your mobile banking app, and stared at the tiny trickle of interest your savings account paid you last month? The battle for your hard-earned cash has reached a boiling point. On one side, you've got the traditional high street banks screaming about their top-tier easy-access savings rates. With the Bank of England base rate holding steady at 3.75%, you can finally find savings accounts and cash ISAs offering between 4.5 and 5% interest. It feels like a win, doesn't it? But on the other side, you've got the stock market, where index funds have been quietly compounding wealth over the long term, making those bank rates look like pocket change. If you are trying to build real wealth in the UK today, you are facing a massive dilemma. Do you play it safe with a savings bank account, or do you take the leap into index funds? Most people get paralyzed by this choice, so they just leave their money rotting in a low-interest current account. Today, I am breaking down the ultimate financial cage match: index funds versus savings bank accounts. I'm going to show you the math, the hidden traps, and exactly how the wealthy deploy both of these tools to get rich. Welcome back to the Money Mad. Let's look at the scoreboard. Pillar 1 is unmasking the silent thief known as inflation drag. If you think your money is completely safe sitting in a high street savings account, you are falling for the biggest illusion in British finance. Inflation is sitting at a sticky 3.3%. If you have your money in a standard easy access account paying you, say, 4% interest, you might think you are making a profit. But you have to remember the golden rule of real wealth. It's not about the nominal number of pounds in your account, it's about your purchasing power. Once you subtract that 3.3% inflation from your 4% interest rate, your real, inflation-adjusted return is a miserable 0.7%. And that is before the taxman takes his slice. If you cross your personal savings allowance, you'll owe up to 40% tax on that interest, pushing your real return firmly into negative territory. Your money is technically growing, but its ability to buy groceries, energy, or property is actively shrinking. Now let's look at index funds. Over the last few decades, a low-cost global index fund tracking the world's biggest companies has historically delivered an average annual return of around 7 to 8% after adjusting for inflation. When you choose a bank account over an index fund for your long-term wealth, you aren't avoiding risk. You are choosing the guaranteed risk of losing purchasing power over time. The rich understand that a savings account is not a wealth-building tool. It is a wealth-holding tool. Pillar 2 is understanding the foundational rule of liquidity versus growth. To win this game, you have to assign a specific job to every single pound you own. A savings bank account is unmatched at one specific job: keeping your cash perfectly liquid and completely safe from short-term market crashes. If your car breaks down, your boiler packs up, or you face an unexpected redundancy, your index fund is useless if the stock market happens to be down 10% that week. You cannot pay your mortgage with shares in Apple if you have to sell them at a loss during a market dip. This is why you absolutely must build your cash fortress before you even look at an investment app. You need 3 to 6 months of your raw, essential living expenses sitting in a high-interest easy access account or a cash ISA. In 2026, platforms like Trading212 are paying 4.76% on uninvested cash, and Kahoot is offering up to 5% on easy access savings. This cash is your financial shield. Its job isn't to make you rich. Its job is to protect your peace of mind so that you never become a desperate seller. But once that fortress is built, every extra pound left in that account is a soldier being wasted on guard duty when it should be out on the front lines capturing territory in the global economy. Pillar 3 is the power of global diversification versus single bank vulnerability. When you put your money into a savings account, you are making a single, concentrated bet on the financial health of that specific institution and the UK economy. Yes, your money is protected up to £85,000 by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, or FSCS. But your growth potential is entirely capped by whatever rate that bank decides to hand down to you. When you buy a global index fund, like the Vanguard FTSE Global All Cap, you are instantly diversifying your wealth across thousands of the most profitable corporations on the planet. You are buying a tiny slice of tech giants, energy titans, consumer goods empires, and healthcare pioneers. If one industry goes through a rough patch, or if the UK economy stagnates, your wealth is supported by the relentless innovation and profitability of the entire global private sector. You are shifting your financial destiny away from the monetary policy of the Bank of England and tying it directly to global human progress. When global corporations raise their prices to combat inflation, their profits grow, their share prices rise, and as an index fund investor, you profit from the very inflation that is crushing the average consumer at the supermarket checkout. Pillar 4 is mastering the tax shields of the modern UK landscape. It does not matter how high your returns are if you let the taxman march into your portfolio and seize half of your gains. If you hold a massive pile of cash in a standard savings account, the interest you earn counts toward your income. Under the current frozen tax bans of 2026, basic rate taxpayers only get a £1,000 tax-free allowance, higher rate taxpayers get a measly £500, and additional rate earners get absolutely zero. Cross that line and your savings interest is hit with up to 45% income tax. To beat the system, you must utilize the ultimate financial fortress, the stocks and shares ISA. You have a £20,000 annual limit to invest in index funds completely tax-free. Inside this wrapper, you will never pay a single penny of capital gains tax when your index fund grows, and you will never pay tax on the dividends it pumps out. The rich get richer because they don't leave their wealth exposed to the standard tax system. They route it through these legal sanctuaries. If you are comparing a standard bank account to an index fund inside a stocks and shares ISA, the index fund wins by a landslide on tax efficiency alone. You are keeping 100% of your compounding growth, allowing your wealth to snowball with zero friction. Pillar 5 is the ultimate verdict of time horizon. The debate between index funds and savings accounts completely evaporates once you look at your timeline. If you need your money within the next 3 to 5 years, perhaps you are saving for a house deposit using a lifetime ISA, or you have a wedding planned for next summer. The stock market is the wrong place for your cash. Over short periods, the stock market is a volatile psychological roller coaster. It can drop 20% in a month because of a geopolitical crisis or an unexpected economic report. But if your time horizon is 5, 10, or 30 years, the savings account becomes your greatest financial mistake. Over any 20-year period in modern financial history, the probability of losing money in a diversified global stock market index fund is historically zero. Time completely neutralizes market volatility. If you start with a lump sum of £10,000 today, after 20 years in a savings account, earning a real return of 1% after inflation, your purchasing power will only grow to around £12,000. But if you put that same £10,000 into a global index fund compounding at an average real return of 7%, your wealth explodes to nearly £40,000 of inflation-adjusted purchasing power. That is the life-changing difference between merely saving your money and truly investing it. The final verdict is that you should never choose between an index fund and a savings bank account. You need both, but you must use them for their correct financial purposes. Use your high-interest savings account to hold your short-term cash, your emergency fund, and your peace of mind. But use a low-cost global index fund inside a stocks and shares ISA to build your long-term wealth, conquer inflation, and secure your ultimate financial freedom. Stop letting your surplus cash sit idle, watching its value evaporate into the ether of the British economy, and start turning your savings into an army of wealth-generating assets. If this definitive showdown between index funds and savings accounts finally gave you the clarity to structure your portfolio the right way, do me a massive favor. Hit that like button right now. It takes less than a second, but it tremendously helps us push out real, hype-free financial education to thousands of people across the UK. Subscribe to the Money Mad to join our community of sharp, forward-thinking investors who are actively navigating this 2026 economy. I want to hear from you in the comments below. What is the current split in your portfolio right now? Are you leaning more toward the safety of cash savers, or are you fully loaded into global index funds? Drop your strategy down below and let's get a brilliant debate going. Don't forget to check out our deep dives on how to maximize your 2026 ISA allowances or our step-by-step guides on the best index funds for beginners. Thank you so much for watching. Keep your emergency cash locked, get your investment money working, and stay money mad.